Hi teachers, if you just got your garden, this is your quick and down and dirty video about how to set it up. You should have 8 trays that are the regular plant trays. They alternate like this and they go on the bottom 4 shelves. There are 2 trays that look like this. I call them propagation trays because they allow the roots to grow a little bigger. These go on the top shelf. The top shelf is always for seed raising and propagation. This little container will be your seed raising container, and you will have rock wool and seed for that. The seed comes in a little packet like this, and the nutrient comes in a packet like this. There is a plant timer and enough net cups to let you raise both your propagation shelf and your regular shelf at the same time. The idea is to continually always have something growing so that when you harvest, you have more to put into the grow shelves. So as you share your garden, you may be raising seeds or seedlings for the next classroom. There is a downloadable guide that will help you track your seeds from start to finish. And also there are printable instructions, which I try to include in each kit. If you're missing anything, please go to worldgraceproject.org/teachers to find downloadable instructions and videos and even hydroponic terms that we often use. I hope that gets you started quick, and I hope you have fun using the garden. So when your plants get pretty big, these are actually maybe a little too big in your propagation trays, you're going to move them to your regular plant trays. There's two reasons why we don't plant them directly into the plant trays. One of them is just for space and for the fact that we can raise a lot more plants by having these stay in smaller trays to start. The second reason is the plants don't demand quite as much nutrient when they're smaller, and so by keeping them smaller like that and then moving them to a larger tray, we're going to allow them that extra growth that they need at that final stage. So a lot of it's just about space saving, but all you're going to do to move or plant your garden is simply fill this up with nutrient, and you're going to take these out of the propagation and stick them right into this tray here. And then again, you'll put these on the bottom 4 shelves and you'll alternate the holes. And that's how you'll plant your whole system out. You can do that on the same day that you plant new seedlings if you want. So you will move the big plants out of the top of the garden into the bottom, and then you can start new seedlings. And that will keep your cycle of growing going. Okay, you're setting up your garden today. So you're going to lean it against the wall, make sure it's secure, and you're going to find an outlet that's close to you. Then you're going to use your timer, and in order to set the timer, it might be set for you, but on this dial, you're going to see that the ones that are depressed or pushed down, that means those hours are on. And then for the ones that are lifted up, that means it's turned off. If you look at the side, make sure that it's not set to on, but that it's set to timer. And then once you plug in the lights, you can turn the dial and see them turn on and off. Some teachers choose to leave the lights off during the day and actually have them come on at night so it's less distracting for the class. That's totally up to you. Make sure that all your cords are plugged in really good. If you have any lights that are off, sometimes the cords will come loose. So just make sure that you get those plugged in tightly. So next, the first stage of filling out the garden is taking our seedlings and getting them into what I call the propagation tray. So here's the propagation tray. It has multiple holes, and 2 of these fit on the top shelf. So we're going to switch our top shelf from holding seedlings to holding little baby plants. The reason that we do this is that we want to keep these contained and well watered until we have some roots growing through the bottom of the net cup. So when we look at the net cup, what we want is to have roots coming through here so that when we transplant them into the regular trays that only have 3 holes, that they will easily transplant. We can also then grow more lettuce by having lettuce ready to move into the big trays. So next you're going to need to mix some nutrient. And you should have a pack that looks like this. And this has everything that you need. You can cut these into individual packs. This is in order. So you're going to mix this first. And the instructions are on here. I like to use hot water at the bottom of the bucket if possible. It does dissolve better. If you don't have access to that, warm water is fine. But start by mixing the NPK first, and you'll stir that really good. And then once that's mixed in, you'll go to the magnesium and mix that really well, and then the calcium. Sometimes you're going to see some stuff at the bottom of the bucket, and that's okay. It will maybe not dissolve all the way. So you have meters in your kit. The meters tell you what the EC reads. EC stands for electrical conductivity. And the more mineral that's in your bucket, the more conductive your water will be. So that reading will tell you that. So if the water evaporates, your nutrient will become more conductive because it'll be more concentrated. So the other thing that you're going to measure is pH, which is potential for hydrogen. And your pH needs to read between 5.5 and 6.2, which on your meter will read 6,200 or 5,500. So you're going to move the decimal point. Your pH down looks like this. There is pH up, but you will not need this unless you use too much of this. Our water is too high for pH. So once you get your nutrient first, then pH adjustment. Once you get that done, you'll just put, it probably only takes 2 tablespoons of this to get you to the right spot. So don't over add, just try to do a little bit, stir. You can let it sit and come back to it and test it. Once you get the nutrient mixed, you're gonna fill this container up with net cups, and the net cups will just sit right in here. It'll just look like that. And you're gonna fill it up so that each net cup, I try to do 1 to 2 levels up with nutrient inside of this. And that way, what's gonna happen is when you put these plants in there, see how they already have roots? So that will reach the water, and then it'll start to wick up, and then you'll start to see these grow large really quickly. In fact, I'll show you what they're gonna look like. This one's just about ready to, this one's past ready to transplant actually. So these are a little bit big, but as you can see how the roots continue to grow bigger. So these are all ready to go in the system and grow into full-size plants. So you're all set.